What are your thoughts on the Tea Party movement, and are there any Democrats who you think are part of it?
Well, yeah, first of all, I saw a survey the other day that said that the Tea Party, the people who identified with the Tea Party in America, grassroots people, if there was no Tea Party candidate on the ballot, 20% of them said they vote for Democrats. The grassroots Tea Party impulse is basically positive. What they're saying is America really doesn't work for ordinary people. And the people that caused the economic crisis, big banks, they're in good shape, and we're not. The government helps the big guys, doesn't help the little guys, and everybody works for the government. They're in good shape. They at least have a job, they got health care, they can make their mortgage payment, and we're not. And we want an America that works for ordinary people again. And we want to correct the abuses of big business and big government. That's the purest impulse. That's a healthy thing, because America needs to reform a lot of its systems now. Now, the surveys, however, all the reports that have shown that the major financial backers of the Tea Party are basically wealthy people who are very far to the right, and they hope by making it a crusade against government, they can make the world free for their big companies to run American life and life beyond our borders. So I think that many of the things these Tea Party candidates have advocated would actually receive would have the reverse impact that they advocate.
Are the Democrats underestimating the Tea Party movement?
I don't know. I think it would be a mistake. I think what we should say is those Tea Partiers, 20% of them, by the way, say they'd vote for Democrats if there were no Tea Party candidates on the ballot. Those, in their purest form, the Tea Partiers are saying, I've been let down by big business and big government. I've been let down because the big banks were bailed out, but nobody helped me. And the government that bailed them out, they're doing fine. They all have a job, make their mortgage payments, have health care, send their kids to college. I want reform in both. But the funders of the Tea Party movement tend to be pretty far-right extremists who their goal is to destroy the power of government to mediate the power of corporations. And I don't really think that is a sustainable position. My advice for the Democrats is don't play games. Make this about the American people. Tell them what we need to do and what you would do about it, and ask them if they really think you're more likely to do it than your opponent. I think we should just play it straight.
The reason that it seems fresh to me because Democrats are being outspent by Republicans, and in particular Republican outside groups, by a margin of 5 or 6 to 1.
That could be, but we're heading into a time Democrats have been conserving their money because clearly we have less. So I think that gap is going to diminish as we get closer to the campaign. This is the moment that Democrats have been saving their money for. So you're going to see that we have a much greater presence as compared to the Republicans and these outsiders than we've had before.
Let me ask you about the issue of reproductive rights.
Sure.
Not only do most Democrats not want to run overtly on the issue, no matter what their position is on it, most even don't even want to say the word abortion in an election year. Democrats haven't liked to campaign on this for a very long time. But in this election, with this crop of Republican candidates and their extreme positions on this issue, it seems to me like Democrats don't have a choice.
And actually that's happening. We see it in Colorado, where Michael Bennet has run not one but 2 ads that deal with reproductive health. We're seeing in governor's races in Illinois against Bill Brady, the Republican, and in Indiana, in Michigan. We're seeing it in a number of the races. Let's see, Harry Reid, of course, is using that in an ad. So we're going to see that more and more, I believe, as we get closer. This is a killer issue, not just the issue of abortion, but it's a window into the extremism, the intolerance of this brand of Republican. 63 House members that are running for re-election as Republicans belong to the RNC pro-life. Under any circumstance, rape or incest, they do not support abortions. You're going to see ads like explaining that around the country, that, it's that kind of Republican that we don't want, that is so extreme on so many issues, particularly abortion. This is going to appeal to suburban women. 82% of Americans in a poll said that in cases of rape and incest, they believe that abortion should be legal. And so I definitely think that as we get closer to the election, that you're going to see this raised, particularly in urban areas.
Give me a window on the decisions that are made, the strategic decisions that are made about this idea of national versus local messaging. Because obviously any Democrat running against one of those Republicans who is that extreme on abortion issues has that out there as a very soft target, provided that it's a pro-choice Democrat who's running. But there's also this broader issue, right? That any Democrat running anywhere in the country could use that issue by saying, listen, is this the Republican Party that you want to empower? You want a Republican majority? You're going to vote for X Republican candidate? If so, you're electing Christine O'Donnell. You're electing these incredibly radical Republicans that you might have heard about nationwide. That's a national campaign strategy. And as far as I understand it, Democrats have decided not to do that kind of nationalizing thing.
Well, certainly on Social Security, that you're not right about that. That you're going to see all over. And again, I think you will see increasingly. You know what Emily's List found in a poll that 61% of rather uninterested women became very interested in voting against some candidate that would take away their right to make their own choice about reproductive health. And so I do think that you're going to see it more. But you know, people are going to look at their own district. In some places, in more rural areas and different kinds of communities around the country, that's not a message that's going to sell. So candidates are picking and choosing. But certainly the outsourcing issue, the outsourcing our jobs and Social Security plays more universally. But you're going to see more and more of these attacks on the extremism and using the fact that even in cases of rape or incest, that there's complete anti-choice position. You're going to see those ads.
Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, Democrat of Illinois, trying to turn my frown upside down about Democratic wussiness on this, and doing actually the most vigorous job that anybody has done at defending Democratic strategy so far for these elections this year. Thanks for being on the show to do that.
Thank you,
it's nice
Rachel.
to see you. Thanks.
Well, former President Bill Clinton hitting the campaign trail a bit over the weekend, crisscrossing the Northeast, really, stumping for Democrats in 3 states. Look at this.
And, of course, they got the Wrestling Federation lady in Connecticut and the witchcraft lady in Delaware. And I tell you, so far they've gathered up about everybody for this Tea Party but the Mad Hatter. And Alice in Wonderland, I'll give it to him, I think.
You know, I've been involved in politics and public life in one way or another for 4 decades. And during those 40 years, our country has voted 10 times for president. Democrats won only 3 of those times, and the man who won 2 of those elections is with us today. Tremendous progress during the 90s under a Democratic president, with a flourishing economy and our leadership for peace and security respected around the world. Just think how much more progress we could have made over the past 40 years if we'd had a Democratic president. Think about the lost opportunities of these past 7 years on the environment and the economy, on health care and civil rights, on education, foreign policy, and the Supreme Court. Imagine how far we could have come, how much we could have achieved if we had just had a Democrat in the White House. We cannot let this moment slip away. We have come too far and accomplished too much. Now the journey ahead will not be easy. Some will say we can't do it, that it's too hard, we're just not up to the task. But for as long as America has existed, it has been the American way to reject can't-do claims and to choose instead to stretch the boundaries of the possible through hard work, determination, and a pioneering spirit. This election is a turning point election, and it is critical that we all understand what our choice really is. Will we go forward together, or will we stall and slip backwards?
The choices you make in politics are like the choices you make in life. You look at the facts as best you can, and you make the best available choice.